A very good afternoon. Very good evening, I should say. Ah, a very good evening. A very cold evening. It's pretty. It's pretty cold. So having the woolen blanket here. Nice and warm. A little bit of a electric heater going. So, welcome. A very warm welcome, I should say. And second video of today, as you might have noticed by now. And yeah, I felt like, why not? Let's make another one. In the last video, I've very, well, briefly mentioned paganism. And I came, well, actually, the idea came to me that so many people are not celebrating Christmas because it's supposedly it's a pagan holiday, right? It's a pagan satanistic holiday, a celebration. And I was wondering about this. Like, it's a bit weird, isn't it? If you get to think about it, how Christmas can bring so much joy if celebrated in the right way. Why would you be against that? So I was thinking a little bit about this, and I was looking on social media, and of course you have all these Christmas markets in Germany that are overrun by Muslim groups that try to disturb the markets, um, be it in a legal way maybe. And of course, firstly, the idea that comes up is, why are we putting up with this? Why do we put up with this? And why is it happening? Now, the whole Muslim matter is something else. But even within Christianity, the real fanatics go against Christmas. Now, I can understand how it has this pagan edge to it, right? How Christmas, to a certain degree, can be linked to our pagan history, which is not a pretty history, but it is what it is, right? I mean, we have risen from very difficult circumstances in Europe and also in the United States. Humanity developed. It must have been bizarre. I mean, the conditions that people lived in, and the whole paganism, to try and make sense of the natural world and whatever is beyond that, and our place in it. And it led to some pretty terrible stuff. And we still see the remnants of paganism and the occult in our daily lives. We see it in the news, we see it in so many things. And apparently in Christmas. But I was wondering, like, we as humans, as a society, as societies, as groups of people, have risen out of paganism into Christianity, which is a beautiful thing. And we did so with great success, even though, like I said, there's still a lot going on the pagan level, on the occult level, and the satanistic level. But at the same time, if you look at Christmas, why is it okay for us to rise out of paganism? And why is it bad that Christmas itself rises out of paganism? And this is, I think, a very interesting point. we allow ourselves to rise from it, to rise out of it, to go beyond that. But then Christmas itself, some people uh, argue, is not capable of doing so, which is, of course, in my humble opinion, it's ridiculous because the symbolism connected to Christmas, you can make anything of it that you want. You don't have to accept those symbols. You can change it. You can change it in any way you want, in any way that you see fit, in any way that fits you. You can create the Christmas that you want to see. And this is, I think, an overlooked idea that somehow we can rise from paganism, but then Christmas is somehow immune to that, cannot rise from paganism. I think if we really go deeply into this, I think we can convince most Christians to just celebrate Christmas joyously, happily. And of course, you could argue that Christmas is a feast of drunkenness and an excess of food and goods, and instead of giving to the poor, it's about greed and giving yourselves the most beautiful presents and whatnot. But that's all up to you. The same goes for pipe smoking and alcohol. These, oh, it's quite difficult.
Power off.
It's quite difficult. Thank you. It's quite difficult to abuse a pipe, depending on what you put in it. But it is very easy to abuse alcohol. But it's up to you. And that's the same for everything. When you buy something, you can buy something through Amazon. We all do it, I do it. But you could also say, look, let's find a craftsman and let's buy something that was made with passion by hand. It will cost you a fortune, but it will last for generations. So these are all considerations. Now, one of the areas where the occult and the paganism of Christmas kind of shines through is, for example, in Italy, in the Tyrol area, uh, where they have these festivities, Krempen, and I wrote it down here, Krampus and Perchten parades, where they are dressed like devils and they go after the naughty children. Yeah, what do you have to say about that? You know, what can you say about that? That's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting warning for the children, I think, because there were many places in pagan history where uh, people were not too kind to children, and of course, even in Christianity, we could say people have made their mistakes, to say the least. Is that due to children being naughty? Well, maybe it helps. Maybe it helps some people to justify their anger towards children, and not only anger, of course, far worse things. But at the same time, you can make something playful out of it. Something playful, like a warning. Like you can be naughty, but there are consequences. Like you can water it down to any level that you see fit. And I think that's the task that we have. If we want to preserve Christmas, which can be an absolutely delightful time if you do it correctly, then we have to actively celebrate Christmas, and not only in our houses, but we have to be willing to celebrate outwardly. In our front yards, we could put something that presents Christmas to others. And the Christmas markets, of course, we should keep those alive at any cost. And we should just have a moment with ourselves and just wonder, okay, maybe Christmas has some pagan influences, but me myself has arisen from that. So why can't my celebration of Christmas rise beyond that? Why can't I change that? Why can't what can I'm tired. Again, I'm making a video in the middle of the night. It's not a good thing. My eyes are dry. My mouth is dry. um, but the point I'm trying to make here is like you can make anything of it. And you don't have to make it about everything else. You simply don't have to do it. And if you don't want to celebrate Christmas, well, that's that's fine also. There's no problem with that. I see it as a loss because I enjoy Christmas. But you may see it not as a loss. You may see it as a support to your practices towards God and towards the Holy Scriptures. So that's that. It's a difficult topic. It's a very difficult topic. But I feel that we should be able to enjoy our lives a little bit. And it's up to you how far you push that. And that's how we protect Christmas. I mean, I've seen videos from the main Christmas market in the capital city of Romania, for example, and huge. I mean, such a celebration, such a beautiful thing. Just forget about the symbolism. Just if you don't know the meaning of it, it doesn't exist. It simply does not exist. That's my opinion. Now let me light this pipe. Been waiting long enough. Now sometimes you make a video like this video and you have no idea where it's going. It's not that I made a script perfectly all the way to the end. That would be great, because then I would know how to finish this video, other than smoking a pipe. But I guess it comes down to the idea that I'm looking forward to it. You can see it, I'm dressed in green, I'm having my Christmas winter blanket here. As I've spoken about in a different video, I can appreciate the colors, the whole vibe, and it's kind of a way of enjoying wintertime, you know. Like I said before, I'm not really sensitive to the winter blues, but I'm having a difficult time in winter. Not at all. I enjoy winter because I find ways to enjoy it. And it doesn't mean that I don't get a little bit too tipsy or drunk, maybe, at times when I'm with family. When you're together, somebody brings you a beer and then another one. But up until now, I've always been able to say, enough. And with food, your body at some point says enough. You don't have to worry about it, you just eat, and at some point, you're done. So, I guess this is what I wanted to say. There is not much news otherwise, other than, well, I have been going to a thrift shop today. I bought a few things. I'll show you later. For now, I think it's time to end this video, to think about this even more, because I feel like we're very We very briefly touched upon this subject, and for most people that's probably good enough. I might do some more research into this. Because I want to be able to lay my finger on why Christmas is under attack. Why some people take offense when you mention Christmas. Mostly people on the left or from a different religion, but also within Christian circles. Like, what is the point? What do you win with that? And I guess to a certain level, some people need to keep themselves on a leash, right? They cannot really deal with that temptation. I mean, they know themselves pretty well, I guess, and they know they cannot deal with that, and I'm not gonna judge that. I mean, if you know you cannot ride a motorbike because you are reckless, then you should not ride a motorbike. I've been riding a scooter. I don't know how you call it in the States or in the UK. Like a very slow scooter, like you see in Italy, these Vespas. I immediately knew I was not suited to ride a motorbike. And my friends at the time were all getting into motorbikes and motorcycles, I should say. And I just knew if I get on a motorcycle, it's the end of me. So I never did it. So in a sense, people that don't celebrate Christmas maybe are very aware of their shortcomings. They are very aware of where their temptations lie and how they fall into those. And in that sense, I can respect that, right? I can respect if somebody says, I'm not going to celebrate because I know I'm going to be an idiot. I'm going to do things that I regret. Yeah, well, for those few individuals, I get it. You take your religion very seriously. You want to go to heaven. Look, I understand. But I guess it's the same as with pipe smoking. You could couple it to something evil. Like there was this massive university student movement in Europe at some point, I believe, in the 16, 1700s. And these students would misbehave, and one of their favorite hobbies would be to throw in the windows with rocks. That was apparently a thing in those days. Can you imagine? But that was a way for them to say, I don't agree with you, or this person has done something bad. And then the whole village would come and then just beat this guy up, probably. Um, and if you had a personal quarrel, you would just go behind the house and just throw in a window that nobody else sees. That's a very interesting story. I have a book on that. I will talk about it in another video, another promise. But these people, these university students, were very rebellious, and they smoked a pipe. Is therefore pipe smoking bad because they did it? Now, the same can be said for the website of Smoking Pipes and their mother company. Uh, the name escapes me. Laudisi or whatever. Ellen Harrelson from the Pipe Cottage said, "Look, I'm not going to buy anything from you because you write about things that, you know, touches upon Satanism, and you name your tobaccos in a certain names that touch on Satanism, like the Beast. One of their tobaccos is called the Beast. So I don't want anything to do with you." Because she's a very serious Catholic. So even today, pipe smoking, if you follow his reasoning and if you agree with him, you could say it's still touching upon aspects of religion and Satanism that you don't like. Does that mean that pipe smoking is inherently bad? Obviously not. It's what you make of it. It's what you make of it. It's very simple. And of course, if a company is willing to, to touch upon the fringes, you can decide, okay, I'm not going to buy from you anymore. I don't believe they are doing very bad stuff. I see the videos, and it has kind of a liberal vibe, right? And a bit of a hipster 2.0 vibe, and it's like, yeah, they dress in a certain way. It's kind of yeah, kind of liberal hipster movement. Um, you know, I almost want to say something that I'm not gonna say for now, but you know, they give off certain vibes that well, maybe not too comfortable with. Would I completely ban their products or not buy a Peterson pipe anymore because they own Peterson pipes? Well, I'm not so sure of that. You know, I'm not so sure. I have to look into that. And it's a whole it's a whole different discussion, right? I mean, they are trying to make something of the pipe smoking industry, I guess. You know, they deserve a chance. I feel also the pipe industry, the whole culture. It's okay for them to be a sort of a side branch and to kind of expand in that, and for us to give them the chance and to see what they can do. Maybe they can find a whole new market for pipe smoking. As long as that market is not consisting of complete idiots, that's okay, right? I mean, but that's what we'll have to see. I think these people are quite okay actually. Um, so, long story short, everything can be, the object of something evil, but also the object of something good, and it's up to you. I guess I've repeated that multiple times now, and I think that's because it's that simple. Basically, it's not more complex than that. It's all up to us to do the right thing, and I think that in its essence, that's something quite simple, right? We all know what is good and what we have to do here. So I will leave it up to you to leave a comment with your thoughts on this. I'm going to finish this video. I'm probably gonna make another video of this at some point. I'm sorry that I'm rambling. It's I'm rambling a lot. It's a very slow video. I feel it's a very well. It is what it is, right? And that's the beauty of it. We can sit together and we can take our time and we can just take a moment of silence and rethink things. Even during a video like this, it's all okay. I want to thank you for your patience, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.